Welcome, seekers of the macabre, to another episode of Twisted Crime Tales. Tonight, we journey into one of Belgium's most chilling mysteries, a tale of loss, cruelty, and secrets hidden behind walls that no one ever thought existed. In our story, the bright morning of a little girl's bike ride turns into a nightmare that would shake a whole country. Stay with me, because every shadow in this tale hides a secret, and by the end, you may never see a quiet street the same way again. It all began on a soft spring morning. In a small town in Belgium, a curious and brave girl named Sabine loved to ride her bicycle. Every day she pedaled along the same road to school with a smile and a heart full of questions. But on the morning of May 28th, 1996, Sabine left her house, her school bag in tow, and never arrived at school. Her disappearance shocked her family and sent ripples of worry through the town. Sabine was no ordinary child. Born on October 28, 1983, in a town called Tournai, her parents always said she had a strong spirit. Her mother worked as a nurse and her father served in the police. So when Sabine did not appear one morning, everyone knew something was very wrong. Within hours, her parents rushed to the police station, desperate for answers. They could not believe that a girl who loved riding her bike had simply vanished without a word. At that time, Belgium was already haunted by a string of disappearances. 5 other girls and young teens had gone missing. When Sabine disappeared, the police started a special team just to find missing children. Her picture was shown on every TV screen and printed on every newspaper page. Days turned to weeks, but no clues were found. The bright, curious light that was Sabine had faded into a deep, dark mystery. Just when hope seemed almost lost, another disappearance struck. On August 9th, 1996, Leticia, a lively 14-year-old who had just spent a fun day at a local swimming pool, did not return home. Leticia had planned a simple day of laughter with her friends. They swam, changed their clothes, and went on their separate ways. But when Leticia did not reach home, panic spread quickly. Her mother, full of fear, rushed to the police, remembering all that had happened before. In the days before Leticia's disappearance, some caring neighbours had seen a strange white van roaming the neighbourhood. They noticed the van parked near the swimming pool and remembered the odd number on its plate, something like FFR 692 or FFR 697. For the police, this was a clue. Soon they began to trace the van, a clue that would soon lead to a name whispered in fear: Marc Dutroux. Mark Dutroux was a man with a very troubled past. At 39 years old, he was known to the police for very bad actions that had hurt other children before. He had once been in jail for crimes so serious that even grown-ups shuddered at the thought of him. Mark had a history of violence and had been involved in terrible acts that no one should ever imagine. It did not take long for the police to realize that Mark might be connected to Leticia's disappearance. Neighbours' memories of the white van, matched with records from the local car registry, pointed directly to him. When the police went to his house, Mark and his wife Michelle said they knew nothing about the missing girls, but something in the way they looked away and the strange silence in their eyes told a darker story. That same day, an unexpected twist occurred. A friend of Mark and Michelle, a man known as Michel Leliev, was brought in for questioning. Under heavy pressure during a long interrogation, he finally admitted something shocking. He revealed that there was a secret room, a hidden dungeon, inside Mark's house. And inside that dark dungeon, he said, were not just clues to Leticia's disappearance, but also the missing Sabine. Imagine a room hidden away behind a tall shelf filled with old books and dusty objects, a place so secret that no one ever thought to look there. Behind that shelf was a door leading to a dungeon, a dark chamber where evil could hide. On August 15th, 1996, nearly 90 days after Sabine first vanished, the police finally found this hidden door. With trembling hands and pounding hearts, they pushed aside the heavy shelf to reveal the secret passage. Inside that dungeon, the police found something that would haunt them for a lifetime. There, in a cramped, cold room, were Sabine and Leticia. The girls, so young and fragile, sat quietly in shock. Their eyes were filled with fear and sadness, and it was clear they had suffered much. Sabine, who had been locked away longer than Leticia, showed signs of deep pain and starvation. They had been kept in that dark, damp cell where light barely reached, and every day brought new horrors. In that room, every minute felt like an eternity. The girls had been hurt in many ways that no child should ever have to imagine. Mark had used his power to do terrible things to them, and even his wife Michelle had played a part. The details of what happened in that dungeon are too hard to hear. But know this: every day in that hidden room was a nightmare, and the sound of their quiet cries was a secret the walls wished they could forget. When the police burst into that hidden dungeon, they rescued Sabine and Leticia, but the horror did not end there. In a confession that sent shivers through everyone, Mark began to reveal more secrets. He admitted that he had been involved in other terrible crimes that had taken the lives of even younger children. 2 little girls, just 8 years old, named Julie and Melissa, were among those whose lives were cut short. Mark's confession grew even darker as he spoke of other victims. He told the police that in a cold, calculated way, he had hurt and killed more young people. In one horrifying account, he mentioned a man named Bernard Weinstein, a family friend, whom he had beaten and then buried alive in a garden after a violent fight over money. And there were even more names: Anne Marshall and F.G. Lambrecht, 2 teenagers who disappeared during a camping trip in August 1995 and whose bodies were later found buried in a secret spot. Every word from Mark painted a picture of a man who was not alone in his wickedness. He spoke as if he were part of a dark network, a network where even important people might be involved. Rumors started swirling that high-ranking officials and powerful figures had protected Mark for years. Neighbors and journalists began to question how a man with such a troubled past could own 7 properties, even when his life had been full of hardship. Questions were raised about why the police had not searched every corner of his home earlier, and why some voices calling for help were ignored. As the story unfolded, brave survivors, including Sabine and Leticia, gave their heart-wrenching testimony. Sabine, despite the pain she had suffered, asked Mark a question that still echoes in the silence: "Why did you not kill me?" In his cold reply, he said that he had never thought about it, a chilling answer that left many wondering if he saw the world as a place where hurting children was just another day's work. The mystery reached its peak when the trial finally began in March 2004, more than 7 long years after the first disappearance. In the courtroom, the truth spilled out in small, broken pieces: testimonies of unspeakable pain and accounts of a monster who had lived among them. The brave voices of Sabine and Leticia described the endless days in that dungeon, the hunger, and the deep sadness they felt. They told of a world where the sounds of laughter had been stolen by screams and where the innocence of childhood was lost in the dark. Mark, sitting with a cold and empty gaze, was faced with the courage of those who survived. His answers in court were as chilling as the night itself. When asked again about the question that had haunted everyone, why he never ended Sabine's life, he simply repeated that he had never thought about it. His words were so empty that they sent a shudder down the spines of everyone present. It was a moment when the full horror of his actions became undeniable. As the trial unfolded, more secrets emerged. Evidence was found in the form of old videos recorded in that secret room, videos that confirmed the survivors' stories. The police uncovered recordings that showed the cruelty inflicted on those young lives. In a series of revelations, it was disclosed that Mark had not acted alone. His wife, Michelle, was shown to have helped him in his evil deeds. Even a friend who had once been close to them admitted his part, trading a confession for a lighter sentence. With every piece of evidence, the dark tapestry of their crimes was laid bare for the world to see. But the truth was even more twisted. The investigation hinted at an even broader conspiracy, a network where powerful figures might have turned a blind eye. One brave police officer who had dug deep into the case discovered hints that the monster was not acting in isolation. He uncovered clues that pointed to secrets hidden far above the dark basement. A hint that there were other dangerous hands at work, protecting the guilty and silencing those who dared to speak up. For many, the evidence was clear. Mark was a predator, a man who used his past and his dark connections to hide behind a mask of normalcy. His crimes had touched so many lives, and the shadows of his deeds still lingered over the town. Yet, even as justice was finally served in the courtroom, with Mark receiving life in prison, Michelle receiving 30 years, later released on parole, and others given lesser sentences, questions remained. How could a man who once lived as an ordinary electrician with a troubled past suddenly control so many properties? How had he managed to escape the watchful eyes of the police for so long? And most haunting of all, was he truly acting alone, or was he merely a pawn in a larger, sinister game? A game where those in power might protect monsters in the dark. In the years that followed the trial, the survivors tried to rebuild their lives. Sabine, though forever changed, went on to finish school, write a book about her painful past, and even got married. Leticia, too, found a way to step away from the limelight and build a new life with her family. But the memory of those long, dark days in the hidden dungeon remained with them, a scar that time could never fully erase. Across Belgium, the case of Marc Dutroux sparked fierce debates. Many citizens marched in the streets demanding answers. They wondered how it was possible that the police had not found the secret door sooner, or why helpful clues from neighbours had been ignored. The community's anger grew as theories of a hidden network, a secret circle of powerful men and women protecting the guilty, took hold in hushed conversations. Newspaper headlines screamed of corruption, secrets, and the failure of those meant to protect the innocent. One name led to another. A young boy accused a well-known government leader of unspeakable acts, and a troubled young girl named Regina spoke about parties in a mansion where bad things happened. Regina's words, though dismissed by many at first because of her troubled past, later brought more questions to light. Her story added another layer to the mystery, suggesting that the dark network might be even larger than anyone had imagined. The trial, though it ended with harsh sentences for Mark and his close helpers, never fully answered all the questions. Some believed that if powerful people were involved, their names would never see the light of day. Rumours continued to swirl, whispers that the darkness in Mark's home was only a small part of a much larger, hidden evil. And so, while justice was done in the eyes of the law, the shadow of doubt remained. Was this a tale of one monster's cruelty, or was it the tip of an iceberg that sank deep into the murky waters of power and corruption? Every unanswered question, every half-whispered rumour, left the public with one eerie thought. The truth is sometimes far darker than we can ever imagine. Now, as we come to the end of our tale tonight, I invite you to look into the darkness with a careful eye. This story of Sabine and Leticia, a story of a little girl lost on her bike, a bright teen disappearing after a fun day at the pool, and a secret dungeon hidden behind a shelf, reminds us that even in the places we call home, evil may hide in unexpected corners. The trial closed many chapters of this nightmare. Mark Dutroux now sits behind bars for life, and Michelle, though once freed early, will forever be marked by the horrors she shared in that dark house. The survivors, brave as they are, continue to live with the memories of a time when a monster walked among them. Yet even as time passes, the story leaves us with a question that will echo in every quiet night. Are there more secrets locked away in hidden rooms, secrets that powerful people would kill to keep hidden? This case may be over in the eyes of the law, but the mystery still lives in whispered conversations and shadowed alleys. For those who look closely, every creak of a door, every unexplained noise, may hint at the dark truth that sometimes lurks behind normality. Before we say goodbye, take a moment to think about this. What if the monsters are not only those we lock in jails, but also those who hide behind the masks of power? What if, in the depths of an ordinary day, something extraordinary and terrifying can change our lives forever? Thank you for watching this episode of Twisted Crime Tales. If this story sent shivers down your spine, if you found yourself questioning every shadow, then please show your support by liking this video and subscribing to our channel. We promise to bring you more stories that mix mystery with a touch of horror, a blend of fact and the unthinkable, where every twisted tale leaves you wondering what is true and what is hidden. Remember, sometimes the darkest secrets lie in the most unexpected places. And as you close your eyes tonight, ask yourself, could the truth be hidden right behind the next door? Could the darkness be watching, waiting, and ready to reveal its secrets at any moment? Stay safe, stay curious, and always remember, there is more to every story than meets the eye. Good night, and beware the shadows.